All right. At least there's a bit of a breeze because the horseflies and the deer flies are bad today. They are bad. Let's see if I get a second other video on there. Hope you guys like my chainsaw videos from the other day. That was fun. I ended up I was talking to my cousin. He was cutting the grass with the small. He's got 3 girls, right? And the smallest one. These girls crack me up. They're the sweetest, the cutest little peanuts. They are. But every time I see Callie, she's always like, hi, bye, whatever. But he had her on the riding mower with her, right? And there, you could tell she was trying to drive and have fun, right? And so anyway, he stops, he starts talking to me. She's like, bye, kind of like, you know, like, go away. I want to drive the lawn tractor again. And she kept saying bye to me. The other time it was here, actually, we had, it was free hamburgers or whatever. And I'm like, Callie, how are you? She's eating her hamburger, and she grabs her hamburger, she pulls it away from me, sticks her tongue at me, and looks at her hamburger, gives me like an evil look. I guess she figured I was going to steal her hamburger. Oh, kids are hilarious. Yeah, they make me laugh. They make me laugh so much. But no, I said, I think I cut some of your wood. He goes, oh, no. He says, go ahead there. Because I said, I found a double X there. And I said, I thought that might have been you, marking your logs, right? Well, whatever. He goes, no. He says, I just cut for the fireplace. He goes, I don't, he uses the heat pump. But his place, my dad and I, either we got a shitty heat pump or whatever. Everybody else is like, no, our heat pump's really good. My aunt's like, no, she saved like a couple of $100 a month with her heat pump. My cousin said, yeah, it's like he has equal billing for hydro, and it's like under $300 a month every month. And he uses the air conditioner's on all the time. The heat pump, the thing's always working, whether it's heating or cooling. And it's like, but mind you, his house is, basically like 7-8 years old, right? So it's properly insulated and everything like that. Our house is like from 1976. God knows how much insulation is still in the walls, like standing up. So I don't know. Also, it was like $500 a month or something like that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hence why I'm making the dash to help my dad cut the wood. My dad's in his 70s, right? So, that's why I want to, I'm one of those guys, though. Like, my dad always cut the wood for one season, right? What I would do is always cut a little bit more, so that every, say, 2 seasons, you get an extra season free. You know what I mean? Because as you get older, it gets harder. So if I had, okay, say we burn an average of 14 to 18 cord every season, okay? You cut 180 cord, that's 10 years, okay? You cut 360 cord, that's 20 years. Well, in 20 years, I'll be in my 70s. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to cut wood there. I don't have to cut wood then. You know what I mean? You maybe cut a little bit, but not have to go out and cut 15, 20 cord, right? But let's say you had 1,000 cord. Well, that'd probably do the rest of my life. Yeah, sure, it'd, dry out to the point where it just burned really quick. But you might only have to cut, say, 4 fresh cord a year instead of 12, Mind you, I do like cutting wood, but, as you get older, you can't take your health for granted. Sure, I'm worn out. My body's kind of worn out now. I'm in good shape for my age. I'm probably healthier than most 15-year-olds. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I have a drink once in a while for social, maybe once, twice a year or whatever. But, yeah, I'm not 80 pounds overweight, that kind of thing, but I'm active all the time. You know what I mean? You saw my lazy day the other day, and what was my lazy day? Out cutting stove wood. And anybody that cuts stove wood knows that by the end of, even a couple of hours of just dinking around cutting stove wood, you're tired. You know what I mean? Your muscles are sore, you're tired. You're on hills like this, you know what I mean? Plus, I was walking around with the actual chainsaw, I wasn't just driving everywhere and stopping, I'm still scouting. So, carrying that extra 16 pounds around with me, 15, 16 pounds around with me, doesn't sound like much, but do it for 4 hours. You know what I mean? I always have at least 10 pounds hanging off me, whether it's a whippersnipper, or pole arm chainsaw, I think it's about 16, 17 pounds. All that stuff. So at the end of the day, you do that all day, it's kind of like walking around with weights on your ankles. You end up getting, like, my muscle density, like I'm like a piece of jelly in the wintertime, but like right now it's like everything's just like, you know, it's just dense, you know, like it's not bulk, it's just dense, you know what I mean? Especially my shoulder muscles, they get like, and my back muscles, those things become like hard as steel. My gut's still a little gushy, but yeah. That's the Pillsbury Doughboy part of me, I guess. But yeah, so that's what I got going on. Oh, got a truck and a trailer. Whose truck's that? It's a car carrier? It's just a flatbed. Huh. Anyway. Interesting. But anyway, yeah, I guess I'll see if I can get another video on there. I was doing some really good bitch. Oh, I can get another 10 minutes. Yeah. 18 minutes. I can get another 18 minutes. Yeah. So I'm going to do an 18-minute video from my other channel. And we'll go from there. All right. There you go. Have a great day.